Hi everyone, this is Chris and welcome to Unwanted Tutorials. Unwanted Tutorials is a loose collection of how-to, hands-on, decidedly irreverent videos in which I aim to enable you to create some engaging content using DCS's hellish creation tools. So you've just got yourself a new plane, mod or terrain and you want to check it out. And you want it now. I'll use Mission Editor to fly the free SU-25T Frogfoot on the free Caucasus map. While at it, I'll take some time to point out common pitfalls and I'll freely bitch about some of Mission Editor's shortcomings. And here's how you do it. Freshly start DCS. VR users beware. Mission Editor is not VR friendly, so it is better to start DCS in Pancake. From DCS main, choose Mission Editor. Click on Create New Mission. Now choose a map. I'm choosing Caucasus because it's available for everyone. Note that when creating a new mission is the only moment in Mission Editor when you can choose a map. Skip the silly faction assignments, you can do that later at any time in Mission Editor. Click OK now. And we enter Mission Editor proper. It displays the map that we just chose. Bare bones use here, use the mouse wheel to zoom in and right click and drag to pan the map. Pan and zoom into the location where you want to place your aircraft. I intend to work around Batumi, which is in the southern part of Caucasus, so I am panning and zooming to Batumi now. Before we proceed, a word of caution. Mission Editor is as cheap a tool as can be. It does not support undo. Unbelievable, I know, and that is the level of amateurism that pervades user interactions in DCS. So don't screw up. To save your mission, click on the strange screaming robot square below the folder icon on the left. For those of you born after 1990, that's a 3.5-inch diskette symbol. What the F? I guess someone put it there in the main hopes that people younger than 40 could associate it with saving? Yeah, adorably quaint. If not a bit pathetic. After all, 3.5-inch discs were discontinued in 1998. So, click it to save your mission now and choose a good name. No, really, using a good mission name will save you from grief later. I'm using Free Frogfoot in Caucasus as mission name. Okay, we now are going to place our aircraft. So make sure that the editor shows the correct part of the map and is zoomed in. I've zoomed to Batumi Airfield. First, on the left side, select the aircraft or helicopter tool. Use the aircraft symbol if you want to place a fixed wing, and you probably guessed the rest. I click on the aircraft icon because I want to place a Frogfoot. Now look to the right side. A bar with controls has appeared along the right edge of the screen. Look for Country and choose Combined Joint Task Forces blue or red, whatever you prefer. It is important to choose a Combined Joint Country because that allows us to access all player flyable aircraft. It disengages the country filter for available aircraft types, and we want to access all aircraft later. Ignore the task control for now. It will be overwritten anyway when you choose an aircraft for the first time. Now look at Type. From the pop-up, choose the type of aircraft that you want to fly. Note that you must exactly know the type of the aircraft that you want to fly, and Mission Editor will not help you with this. You must know, for example, that the Tiger is an F-5E-3 if you own the full fidelity version, or F-5E-FC if you got the Tiger with the Flaming Cliffs bundle, and that the Wing is an AJS37. Quality of life? Good one. Why do you think creating missions in DCS is called Shitty Shitty Bang Bang? No, this is the Eagle Dynamics experience. And you're welcome. There is minor context help here. Yellow text means that the type can be player controlled. Since I know that the free Frogfoots type that I'm looking for is SU-25T, I ignore the other yellow SU-25 and choose SU-25T instead. Thank you, ED, for a stellar user experience. If your type does not show up and you are sure that it should be available, verify that you have not accidentally enabled the historical filter. The watch or chronograph icon on the bottom must be turned off. I believe using a watch is supposed to be a little mnemonic helper. A chronograph may suggest chronological order, and this may even work in some languages. I guess it's an attempt at being clever with the UX. Now, for skill, choose client. Do not use player as skill. I choose client because we are going to place multiple player planes and want to change between them during the mission. Now click on the map where you want your aircraft to appear, and you'll see its icon pop up where you clicked. I'm putting it close to Batumi's airfield. Note also that now the aircraft's initial point has been set, you gain access to the lower part of the right side control bar. On the lower part that just has become available for control, look for the other type control. This controls the type of the route point where the aircraft appears in the game. By default, it is of the type turning point. There basically are three ways that a player's aircraft can appear in the game. The type determines how it enters the game. We can appear flying in the air, hot, meaning on the ground, fully started, and cold and dark, on the ground. Each of these has its own uses, pros and cons. In air, you spawn into immediate action. You must have set up your controls or you'll buy the farm. Spawning cold, this is best for setting up controls and realistic missions. You must need to know how to cold start your aircraft or at least have set up the engine startup helper button. Hot, this is best for new planes and more casual missions. Use it to set up basic controls and to quickly take off after jumping into the cockpit. We'll place 3 aircraft and use one of each. The plane that we just placed has a waypoint type of turning point. This means that the plane will enter the game flying. Below the type, you'll see 2 controls for altitude and speed. These fields default to some sensible values depending on the aircraft that you have chosen. For example, our Frogfoot Su-25T starts at some 6,000 feet and 350 knots. When you create a new unit this way in Mission Editor, the editor automatically switches to Add Route Point mode. Move your mouse and click to place a new route point where you want your plane to be heading to. After that, click on the Edit button to get out of route point mode. Now press Ctrl Charlie to copy the first aircraft to clipboard. Note that in general DCS does not support standard copy-paste, so don't expect it to work. Here though is one of the few instances where it kinda sorta works. Now move the mouse so that it comes to rest over the tarmac on the airfield and press Ctrl Victor to insert, paste a new aircraft here. The content bar on the right side has updated and now shows the data for the newly created aircraft. Look down at the waypoint data in the lower part of the bar and look for type. It should be set to turning point. We now change this player aircraft to start on the ground and with engines running. But first, zoom in on the aircraft and make sure that it is sitting comfortably on the tarmac and has enough space to all sides. If you are fully zoomed in and can't see a picture of the aircraft, make sure that the small tank symbol on the bottom of your screen, the Show Models button, is lit. Now set the type for this waypoint to From Ground Hot. This will cause the player plane to spawn on the ground with engines running. If you place a player aircraft that way, you can also control the direction it is facing with the heading controls. I like to orient my aircraft sensibly, so that is what I'm doing now. Finally, let us copy and paste this aircraft once more and paste the third aircraft next to the one we just put on the ground. Change the waypoint type to From Ground. This aircraft will enter the game cold and dark when you enter the cockpit. Save the mission. Now click on the green arrow to fly the mission. You are treated to a mission overview screen where you simply continue. Next, you are asked to choose your role. Note that all roles have very similar group names because we did not change them in Mission Editor. Look at the start position to tell them apart. I'm jumping into the cold and dark one. Here we are inside the cold dark Frogfoot. Now press Escape to switch to another role. Again, use the start position to choose the aircraft that you want. This is just to get you started, so you can try out your new aircraft as quickly as possible. Other tutorials will go through this process with more detail. All I wanted here is help you to get inside your new plane with as little hassle as possible. And we're done. Without all my bitching, this should have only taken you about 1 minute to complete instead of 12. But I hope that this quick and dirty how to place your aircraft helps you to safely get into Mission Editor and avoid most of its pitfalls. I hope that you enjoyed this small tutorial. Thank you for watching and take care.